Is your armor flat and boring? Are you unhappy with consistency? Then have we got the product for you. Introducing Greebles, complex and complicated bumps and pistons. Before Greebles, I had no abs, no neck, and no friends. But after Greebles, I've got complicated looking armor, an awesome neck, and tons of gold. Thanks, Greebles! Go out and grab your visual inconsistency today with Greebles. Buy it now!
Hello everyone and welcome to the recent review. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the winter wave of 2016. During this wave we got 12 sets released. The 5 creatures, the 5 Toa, Umarak, and Kopaka and Melum Unity set. Now the story for this season, this wave, is that the Toa, they get new armor, custom made by Akimu, after waking him up. And they have to now go and find a new set of golden masks, as well as find the creatures, elemental creatures that are ancient, since the time before time, that whole spiel. Meanwhile, the creatures are being hunted by Umarak, who needs them in order to find the Mask of Control. Well, in the story, and there's some spoilers ahead, so go ahead and skip if you don't want to hear this. In the Journey to One, Umarak succeeds. He gets the Mask of Control. The Toa are like, well, beans. And he becomes Umarak the Destroyer. And we have yet to actually see what becomes of that. So that's where we stand right now. It took me forever to actually get around to this video, but here it finally is. So how did people react to this wave? Well, I'll tell you right now, the reception was not as unanimously positive as it was in 2015. See, the Toa, a lot of these Toa are actually good sets, and some of them do greatly improve on their prior incarnations. However, there are mixed feelings about some of them. You see, what LEGO went ahead and did with these Toa, they mixed them up quite a bit, and they also gave them more greebly textures. Now, greebles, it's basically detail for detail's sake. And as you can see, they have a new torso piece, and it is a lot more detailed than the old one from 2015 and prior to even that. It looks more biomechanical, it looks more Technic-y, it looks more like Gen 1. And a lot of people actually really like that. However, on the flip side, there were a lot of people who were not happy about that, because it then clashed and conflicted with the standard CCBS. And you can actually see that, hopefully here, there are a lot of smooth portions. Umarak, why'd you have to go and do that? There are a lot of smooth portions, the shells, and a lot of the armor pieces. And then you have the greebled torsos, and the crystal pieces. A bunch of different aesthetics are in play here. And some people were not quite happy about that. Another thing is that metallic colors have come back in force. See, Liwa over there, he's more silver than he is green. You can see the green, obviously, and I have all of them in Unity mode for 2 reasons. One is to show them as their complete forms. That's something I'll get into in a moment. And also because it's easier to actually stage them here like this. So, Liwa, he has a lot of silver. Tahu, he has a lot of gold. Onua, well, Onua's fine. Gali has a lot of silver, and so on and so forth. So, that was also kind of controversial with some people. Speaking of controversies, my gosh, Katar. Katar, the creature of stone. Incredibly controversial. And it's one of the most hated sets of Gen 2. It's basically like Gen 2 Solic. And personally speaking, that's right, personal opinion time, I regard Katar to be my least favorite BIONICLE set ever. And for the longest time, up until he was released, I did not have a least favorite BIONICLE set. Of course, I still like him to a degree, as I do all BIONICLE sets. Umarak, you're now getting on my nerves. However, he's definitely my least favorite. And there are a lot of reasons why. So, what are the good aspects about the first wave 2016? Well, for people that do like the greebly look and the textures, we do have them back. We do have a lot of new colors. We've got a great amount of transparent purple. We've got Metru Blue back again. We actually have Dark Tan coming into Bionicle once again. Got a lot more gold. Got some white. We actually have more recolors as far as the Dark Azure is concerned. We have the Vortex Armor has returned once again in all new colors. We got it in silver. We got it in dark tan. We have an orange. Really cool. Really nice to see. We've got the Mask of Control, as I mentioned earlier, and it looks really nice. This was actually also controversial because it doesn't look like the animation. It's not as angular, it's more rounded, it's got these tusks. Doesn't look as much like an M as it did in the animations. However, we do have it. We have a really cool looking set here as far as Umarak is concerned. Phoenix Tahu, he looks really great in Elemental. And actually the whole Unity aspect. Now, that is something that people have mentioned in the past. Is this a good idea? Well, marketing-wise, yeah, this is a great idea. It's kind of what they wanted to do in the first wave, mixing the toe up with the protectors, but didn't work as well because it wasn't a story focus. This time, boom, we're going all in. Story focus, animals connecting to the Toa. Now, this isn't the first time that we have seen this kind of concept before. Some smaller character connects to a Toa and makes them stronger. We saw that actually in 2008, and I very recently completed 2008 recap reviews and kind of touched on that momentarily. It's done better there? That's debatable. Because there, it was a Toa, and then cardboard cutout Matoran number 522. You just connect them, and it just kind of makes Toa a little bit bigger. With these, you have individual creatures that are stylized to a certain degree to fit their Toa, connecting to the Toa, and enhancing them. So on the one hand, people feel like if the creatures are not on the Toa, then the Toa are incomplete, because that is not their true form. On the other hand, people believe that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either which way. If you have the Toa off, they're still Toa of their own right. If you have the creatures off, they're still creatures of their own right. They're individual sets. So, what do you think? Do you think that they can only be complete if they're unified? Or if it just doesn't matter? As far as the small enemy, we have the Shadow Traps. And obviously, you can see what I'm using mine for. If they're in Unity mode, keep the masks close to my heart and in the Shadow Traps. Now, these are our replacements for the Skull Spiders. They have a bunch of unique little, idiosyncrasies. You got the different legs. They fold up. They open. They're kind of neat. But really what I use them for is a display case. Personally speaking, I like these Skull Spiders a bit more. However, a lot of people really do like these because they're larger, they have more variety, they're a lot more unique of a concept. So overall, it's kind of a half and half here, because a lot of people really did enjoy 2015, and going into 2016, while there were a lot of other people that did like this year more, there were also a lot that were kind of disappointed with some of the sets, specifically Gali, Liwa, and Pohatu, or basically any of the sets not designed by John Ho, a LEGO designer over at, LEGO. Liwa has an issue because of his shoulders and his leg design and his coloration. Gali has an issue with her coloration and some of the part placement, the armor placement. And Pohatu, oh my goodness, everyone despised him for the longest time because of his coloration, how it's assembled, how it looks, etc., so on and so forth. People warmed up to Pohatu, don't get me wrong. However, he was very controversial. Qatar still has not gotten that stigma away from him. One final thing to touch on before I wrap up here is the Nuva symbols have returned from 2002, where we first saw them. As we can see here, they're on their chests. And it's a nice callback. It's really neat to see these return. As an older Bionicle fan, you look at them and you immediately recognize them and it's like, yeah, alright. Now, of course, does this mean that it's an official connection to Gen 1? No, absolutely not. For all we know, that's just a nice callback, and I like it that way. I enjoy that. I'm pleasantly surprised that they did that. I'm happy. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is a connection to the first generation. So overall, is this better in 2015? I think that's all up to personal preference. If you like the more greebly Generation 1 textured look, you're not gonna like 2015 more than this wave. If you like more consistency and brighter colors, more solid, solidified consistency, you're gonna like 2015 more. It's all up to personal preference and opinion, and personally speaking, I cannot say one way definitively whether or not one wave is better than the other. Maybe that's something to look into in the future and determine at a later point. Right now, I cannot say for sure. But what do you guys think? Do you like 2016 more than 2015? Are you happy with the Greebles? Do you like the combination models? Do you like that concept? Feel free to let me know either in the comments below or on the TTV message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and get the summer sets now that they're out and start work on those, and hopefully won't wait until 2018 to actually review them. Thank you all very much for watching, and farewell.